Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everyone. This is me, Jonathan Alexander, and I'm here to host our show, Life, Laughter, Happiness. Today, I have my co-host, Barbara, here. Are you there, Barbara?
Yes, I am. Hi, everybody.
Good. Now, the guest has not arrived yet, but you did text her to let her know to come on?
Yes, I did.
Okay. How long have you known Carrie?
Okay, everybody. We're going to have Carrie Stevens, Miss June, 1997, Playboy Playmate of the Month, interview today. And
Right.
she is confirmed, so we aren't sure why. We haven't heard from her
Right.
yet. But, and then to answer your question, how long have I known Carrie? Well, since
Yes.
I've been a Playboy Playmate, so that's, I don't know, 27, 28
Why
years
don't you
now.
try three-way here in? Do you want to do that?
Okay. Oh, she just wrote me back. She is just like me. She's getting her earbuds on, and she'll be calling. So no problem,
okay,
everybody. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I was reading up on her thing on the bio here. It was she played she was in the series Black Scorpion. She was in some episodes of Weird Science television programs, not the movie. And let's see, Beverly Hills 90210. How long have you known her?
Like I told you, I have known her ever since I became a Playboy Playmate myself. And I am Miss December 92, and she is Miss June 96, so over 25 years. And she was one of the first Playmates I met and got to know. We always had the same agent, and we've had him on this show, too, or one of our agents, Kurt Clemens.
Okay, that's
and we just, yes.
Oh.
What was that?
Okay. No, I mean, I know
what did you
Kurt
say?
is. I'm just saying I remembered him. I'm just saying we've had him on the show, Kurt Clemens,
He's represented a lot of Playmates, so that was something of a connection we had. Plus, we just were in always the same circles. We'd see each other out, and she is considered a close friend that I do talk to all the time. She's not one that I've lost touch with, so she is special, and a lot of people love Carrie. And she just wrote a book, and I am excited to showcase that book on our book club, Life, Laughter, Happiness Book Club. I got it in the mail, and I started reading it, and it was really well done. It's well done and well written, and I'm very proud of her and excited for her. You can get this book of hers called Unrated on Amazon. That's where I got it, and it's a good read. She's had an amazing, very colorful life. A lot happens in a short amount of time. And like you were listing off all of her, not all of them, because there's a lot, all of the TV shows and movies, some of them, she really did well and excelled in acting. And she's one that really became successful at that. And I love her acting. She's very good. And commercials. So she's been a staple in the Hollywood as a model actress for many years and is successful. And I believe she was very successful even before Playboy.
And she is here.
Oh, great. Hi, Carrie.
Hi, Barbara. How are you?
Oh, great. Welcome to the show.
Can you guys hear me okay? Thank you.
We can hear you fine.
Yes.
Good. Okay, because I'm not very technically savvy, and I had to figure out how to put earbuds in. And I bought these silly things just for podcasts, and if my son's not home to like do it for me, I don't know what I'm doing. I can't even I can't turn the TV set on without him. It's terrible.
I know.
I don't know how I get by from day to day.
Oh, Carrie, when I got my earbuds,
okay,
I had to ask Priscilla to connect them.
Are we live?
Yes, we are live right now. And
okay, because I would have posted about this. I should post that I'm here.
I know, but we all should. But Johnny and I do a show 5 days a week, so we're always doing promos after the fact, after the show too.
Oh, cool.
I do a really great promotion, with your link connected, and I will give that to you, and then you can splash it all over social media. So it's good.
Carrie,
we just happen to do it live.
Carrie,
we don't have to do it live, right, Johnny?
Well, no, that's okay. I've been doing a lot of these things, and everybody is different. So I did 2 yesterday. One was Zoom, one was Skype, and sometimes they're audio, sometimes they're video. Sometimes that's why I had to ask, because sometimes even though it's just like audio, they want to do it on Skype. So I don't know. That's not why I had to ask. Because
I will tell you this.
I told you, I'm not very technically savvy, so I
don't
want to screw anything up.
We have a TV channel, and I'm going to be building Barbara a TV channel. And when that happens, I'm going to put all the Playmate interviews on her channel.
Oh, that would be awesome.
And that's when you do see us, because we do that, where you can see us like through a platform like that. So, because sometimes, hey, we're a podcast, but we have Playboy Playmates on here, and I thought it was kind of sad that we can't even see them.
Yeah, like I was going to say, there's that old saying, you've got a face for radio, but you do not fit into that category, Barbara.
That's funny. Thank you.
Mm.
I know, but it sure is nice not having to do your hair and makeup or fix your background for a Zoom. You know what I mean? It's just so much easier. I love it.
Believe me, I've done a few podcasts where they do it on Skype, but then they only air the audio, and I'm like, what the hell did I just do my hair and makeup for?
Exactly. Yeah, that is strange. What a waste. Okay, so now that we are all here and we can hear each other so clearly, which is very nice, I want to tell the audience who we're talking to. This Playmate, Carrie Stevens, is one of the most popular Playboy Playmates of all time, one of the most beautiful, I believe, centerfolds of all time. This is one of my favorites, gorgeous. So follow along and open your Playboys to June 1997, and you'll see Carrie Stevens this June 1997, and you will be so pleasantly surprised. And by the way, you look exactly
you made
the
me
same.
Blush, Barbara. Yeah, I'm like,
you look exactly the same, Carrie.
So do you, actually. You haven't aged a day. You look better every time I see you. I don't even know how you do it.
Well, thank you. I'm constantly changing my look. I try, because it can be boring. Long blonde hair can get, believe it or not, boring. So I try to change it up.
Your body. I think it's the dancing you do. You just keep yourself so fit. It's amazing.
Well, thank you. And it is true, though. After Playboy, it's wonderful to get us when we're young and we have our baby fat and, so pure and innocent, but we become women all through our 20s. And we do change. And I felt like my body did get better during that time. At my prime was like my 30s and 40s. So what's going to change just because of a number?
I was a lot older than you when I did, even though we're the same age, I did Playboy. I was a lot older when I did Playboy than you. I did it when I was 27, and it came out on my 28th birthday. So I think you did it when you were, what, like 22 or something? You were very young.
24. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know what? I always envied that, because it's like you had a very successful career before, and then you did Playboy, and it just like amped it up big time, and you're just ready for it.
I'm so glad
I
did it later, because I had somewhat of a head on my shoulders. I can't. I can't believe I'm saying that now compared to some of the things I did back then. But yeah, if I had done it when I, was much younger, I can't imagine, I might have fallen into.
I have a question. It says here that it came out on your birthday. Your play, but your centerfold came out on your birthday. Yeah. Well, I don't know how it's possible because it says that you're June, but it says that you were born in May.
Yeah,
no,
months before.
It came out on my 28th birthday. So the Playmate of the Year issue is always June, so the party was always around my birthday, and that year it fell on my birthday, on May 1st. So the June 1997 issue came out on May 1st, on my birthday. So that was the first time I ever went to the Playboy Mansion. Yeah, that was quite a nice birthday for me that year.
That's the best birthday present you probably ever had.
Yeah, and that's back when they had the fun after parties. There was a big party at Barfly that night, and a bunch of my girlfriends and I all piled into a limo and went together. It was great fun.
Oh, that's wonderful. What a dream come true.
You were probably there, Barbara. I bet you were there.
And maybe that's where I met you then, because you were one of the first ones I met, and that was one of my favorite places to go to.
You and Karen Taylor were the first Playmates I met.
Really?
And you, Karen Taylor, and Shay Marks. I did some video with Shay Marks. I remember, the three of you. I think I met you. Did I meet you because of Kurt? I don't remember now. I just remember I got closer to you than anyone else.
I know, and I was talking about that before you got on. We were talking about that because Johnny always likes to know how long I've known the Playmate. And you are not one that I ever lost contact with, which have been so many. We're close, and we have a lot of the same friends. We went into the same circles. And Kurt, who we have had on the show, and Johnny knows, is one of our agents. So we had a lot of the same things going on. Plus, we clicked.
Yes, we have similar hearts and souls. So
that's right. Okay, first question.
I don't see enough of you, but no one does anymore.
But we will.
We're going to get
better. We're going to get better at that. Okay, we always start off with this question. It's a question that I get more often than any about Playboy. How did you become a Playboy Playmate?
Well, I have a strange story. People are going to think I'm weird, but I don't care.
Good.
I was actually, the idea had floated around in my head for, 7 years or so since my boyfriend had suggested that I had a body like some of the girls in the magazines. But I was only 19 then, and I wasn't secure. And then over the years, moving to LA, becoming an actress, being in different situations, where I was around centerfolds, I came to wonder if I could actually be one. And I was, that thought stayed with me for many years of insecurity. But then I was in a rebirthing session, which is a guided meditation where it's like basically connected breathing. So you breathe deeply, and when you stop breathing, the practitioner just reminds you to keep breathing deep, and you kind of feel like you're floating. And this was the way I coped with grief many years ago when my boyfriend died. So that's why I was doing this kind of work. And out of that, it was like this clear, sudden message just came to me in one of those sessions that I had to do Playboy. It was just strong. Yes, I got this strong divine message. So when I got home, I had called my friend Peggy Trentini, because I knew she had been on the cover because she was one of those Swedish bikini team girls. And I asked her if she thought that I could be, I asked her if she thought that I could be a Playmate. And she said, yes. She said, I get $1,000 finder's fee if you get in, so let me call for you. So she called Marilyn Grabowski, and they set up a test. It was the same open call everyone had to do. It was like every other Thursday there was an open call. But I had, Peggy's referral, so they were expecting me. And I went in. Marilyn was out of town that week. But I did my test shots, where you go in, you have to wear nothing but your high heels, and you pose like Billy White walks you through it. And, he was very easygoing. Made me feel very at ease. You did it?
I never had to do that. No, because I think that was just for people who could walk in, who are local Californian girls.
Oh,
if we were flown in, we went Polaroid thing. And I always am fascinated by this Polaroid day because don't you feel oh my gosh, how are these Polaroids going to turn out?
Yeah, I lived very close to the mansion, so I never got the experience of, staying there, or getting flown out, or living there or anything. But yeah, I went in and I did the tests. I mean, it wasn't a test; it was just Billy White taking like 5 or 6 photos of me. And then the next week when Marilyn got back, she called and she said, "When I got back, you were the first picture on my desk, and I'm so excited to meet you. Can you come in and do a full test?" And so I went and did the full test, with the hair and the makeup with Alexis logo and Arnie Freytag, and then she never let me leave. So that one day turned into a month. Like we shot my whole centerfold. We did the small camera. Yeah, and I was in the very next issue. So 3 months later, I was a Playmate. It happened really fast.
Oh my gosh! Because they do the issues 3 months in advance, so that's as soon as
that was the quickest turnaround.
Wow!
And some girls get shelved. Yes, some girls will get shelved for a year and a half, or they'll have to shoot 3 times, get rejected, reshoot. I mean, I hear these stories. I mean, I'm not telling the story. I hope no Playmates are listening and feel bad if that doesn't happen as easy for them. But that was my experience.
Oh, I know. No, Carrie is fine, and they're fine with it. It's just their story, But you are right. Many of them had a lot more things to do before it came out. Just a lot of waiting, like you said, and that must have been hard for them. I mean, I did have to wait, but Marilyn told me when I shot it in February, she's like, "I'm saving you for December." So, I didn't worry that whole time. Yeah, I felt
mine was great. Want to hear a funny story? So I had just broken up with this guy that was a complete jerk. And he lived in another state. And, I mean, this guy was such a user, a moocher, really abusive to me. Anyway, we break up right before I tested for Playboy, so he had no idea that I was going to test. And then it happened so fast that I got in. So I filled out that little card and sent a money order, and I subscribed him to Playboy. As soon as I found out I was getting in, so he was getting it for a good couple months. Yeah, and then it was the night of the Playmate of the Year party when I had 6 girls in my living room, and that was back in the day when we had answering machines. And my phone started ringing as we were on our way out the door to get in the limo, and I go, wait, I just want to hear who it is. So with my whole posse of friends standing there, we listened to him on my voicemail going, "That was a good one. Good one." He goes, "Well, happy birthday in your birthday suit." And I wrote all my turnoffs about him so he would know that they were about him.
And he would really know, huh?
Yeah, I know. I'm evil, huh? That makes for a funny story later.
Oh, gosh, no. That is funny. No, because the boyfriends have tried to hold people back, Playmates back, and heck wouldn't let that happen. With another Playmate, her story was similar, but, this one was really mean. They had to protect her from him, and they hid her. They even flew her to a different country to do her whole centerfold. Hef took care of that. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, I'm sure they've had to deal with more than one nut job, and I'm sure after Star AD, I'm sure after Dorothy Stratton, they probably didn't want to take any chances.
You're right. That was very careful. They had to be very careful. When you mentioned your boyfriend and you lost your boyfriend, that was it. huge thing and still is to you in your day now. And can you tell us about that a little bit? It was the drummer for Kiss, Eric Carr, correct?
This is all I talk about all day in podcasts. I was actually going, oh, good, I'm so glad I'm doing Barbara's show today. I won't have to talk about Eric today, but okay. Because usually all the rock and roll podcasts are who I talk to because everyone wants to hear about Eric, and I'm happy to keep his legacy alive. I'm glad, when he died in November 24th of 1991, it was my goal in life to keep his memory alive. And I have to remind myself that I'm a success because sometimes it does feel like a cross to bear, like a burden, it's heavy, it's complicated, I'll always be in love with him, always. Yeah. And it feels like being in a relationship with somebody, only I'm here and he's not. So, and now I've turned into his spokesperson over the years, and I'm still very close with his family, and the Kiss fans embrace me. I don't know if I've mentioned that. He was the drummer for Kiss for 12 years before he passed away, and he suddenly he got cancer. We didn't know it was cancer. He thought it's really scary, especially in today's what we're going through with COVID, to even think about this the way this went down. But he just thought he had the flu, and at first I was like, oh, so what? Everybody gets the flu, he'll get over it. And then he just wasn't getting better, and he went and got a chest X-ray. It turns out he had a tumor on his left ventricle that was like the size of a finger, and he had to have open heart surgery. And then we thought he was better, and then the bad news came where they did the biopsy, and they found out that the tumor was malignant, and they scanned his lungs and found out that pieces of that tumor had been breaking off and going into his lungs. And they gave him 2 to 5 years to live at the time. And
wow.
He had radiation and chemotherapy, and we did a lot of spiritual work and together. And it was only 8 months. Only 8 months later, and he was gone. So,
oh my
and only,
gosh.
yeah, and he only had 6 months of being able to ever. I don't want to make myself cry. I do this every time, but there was only 6 months that he was ever able to even communicate again, because after 6 months he suffered a massive brain hemorrhage and went into a coma, and then he could never speak or write or anything again, although he was completely aware, because you could tell in his eyes, and he, we were very close. I could communicate with him sort of by, the look in his eyes, and it's the worst nightmare. I mean, he was trapped inside of his body basically, and it's always,
yes.
I don't know how I managed to. I could never, before I wrote the book, I wouldn't have been able to speak about this. I was always, I've done a lot of interviews about him over the years, but I always told that the reporters I would not speak about when he was sick or when he died, because it was just too painful.
Yes.
But,
wow,
yeah,
and you were
after
so young to go through that. 19?
Yeah, I was only 22 when he passed away.
Oh, 22.
And I was 18 when I met him, and 22 when he passed away.
How did you meet him?
Oh,
how did you? Does anybody ever ask you that, Carrie? I mean, you're
yes,
so used to talking about the details of. Oh, okay.
But, yeah.
Were you at the conference?
They've all read my book. They all knew, but they want their audience to know, and I'm sure you do too.
Yes. By the way, I'm currently reading it. Currently reading Unrated, and I did give you a big shout out before you got on today of where they could find the book on Amazon, and it's a memoir called Unrated. Go get your copy. I'm reading it now, and I've got to tell you, this is so well written. It is so witty. I mean, just the way you title the chapters, and I haven't got into it too deep, but I bet it is very juicy, I can imagine.
You will love it. You will love it, Barbara. I know you.
And then you said I'm in it, and I'm like, wonder what chapter. Tell me, do you remember what chapter I'm in?
It's the intro. It's the intro.
Okay. Well,
you're in the intro.
I didn't even read the intro. And I don't read the intro. I just start with the chapter. Okay.
My intro, the preface, not the intro. It's called preface.
I haven't read that.
That sets up my whole reason for writing the book. So you have to read it. That you're in that.
Okay.
You're in it. Yeah.
Well, I'm back to reading now.
I have a question.
It's been a while.
What's the funniest thing that ever happened to you at the mansion?
Wait, I didn't finish the last question.
I mean, way to change the subject and why,
not
Johnny?
Like too many questions.
My apologies.
What?
I'm going to get
You know what? My apologies.
One at a time. Okay, it's okay. Barbara and I will keep talking over you if you don't eventually stop us. But just to finish the question, I met him in Memphis, Tennessee, when I was living there, because I grew up in Massachusetts, but my mom had kicked me out, and I had to go to Memphis and move in with my dad, and that's where I met like all these cool rocker chicks at John Robert Powers Modeling School. And anyway, so they got me into going to concerts and things, and then we did go to the Kiss concert. But the night after the Kiss concert, I went to a Ron Woods, from the Rolling Stones. I went to a Ron Woods art exhibit with one of my girlfriends at the same hotel that Kiss had been staying at, but they should have left town. But their next two dates got canceled. So he was sitting in the lobby bar, and his from the back of his head, I thought he was Paul Stanley. I didn't know, but then when they turned around, I overheard him and the two guys he was with talking about getting a car to go to this other place, this Midway Cafe, to go see the Willies, this other band, this local band play. So I can't believe I did this. I was so bold because I was young, and I would never do it today. But I just interrupted, and I said, I have a car. I'll take you. And that's how I met him.
Wow.
That was that.
Thank goodness it spurted out of your mouth like that, because, you were so young, and, I mean, that's like a little intimidating. All the Kiss band members, I mean, they were the hottest thing since our fifth grade. So by that age, wow.
I know. And in my old age, now I go to a restaurant. There's a celebrity sitting next to me, and I'm too nervous to say hi. So I don't know what's wrong with me.
I think that it goes down, the self-esteem, Carrie, because a lot of my Playmate friends our age, they say, oh my gosh, I've lost my self-esteem. I feel like all of a sudden I do the same thing and I'm not feeling so sure about it anymore. See, it's normal. And then you get it back again. It goes up and down.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope it goes back up again.
A little silence there.
And then the difficult question, what did you say, my funniest time at the mansion?
He wanted to know a funniest moment at the mansion.
The mansion. And you can
I guess we're going to go, okay, hold on.
Well, I don't want to ruin my whole book for everyone. I have to pick one that's not in my book.
That's what I wanted to say. Okay, Carrie's we're going to touch upon a little bit through her book and more towards the end, because the beginning, we really want to know. I mean, you were so excited about being a centerfold, and we kind of go in order. How was Hef? When was the first time you met him? We want to know that stuff, and then we want to know your relationship with Hef. So the mansion question will come later. Let's ask her. Yeah, and when was the first time you met Hef? What?
I just finished my audio book, so I'm a little bit hoarse, but I just read this entire book out loud and had to hear my own book, which was quite interesting because I'd never read it in one chunk before. The Playboy chapter, I realized as I was reading it out loud how long the Playboy chapter is, and I could have split it in two, and it's still not enough information because that was 20 years of my life. That was 20 years of, it's also sprinkled a little bit throughout other chapters of the book, but all my chapters are don'ts. As you know, it's tongue in cheek because I did them all. I did everything nice girls are not supposed to do, including pose for Playboy. So that chapter is called "Don't Pose for Playboy." So
that was the part I thought was so clever. I really, got that right off the bat.
Thank you.
Of course. And
someone with
have other people
no
not
sense
gotten
of humor would not get that. I only had
Has
two
anybody
people
not?
in the very beginning who I told the idea, and they both said it's a bad idea, and I did it anyway. Because they said it's negative. I said no, it's not. It's funny. Yeah. Well, whatever. I told you
it grabbed you because I read the first few, and I'm like, what? And it made you like, okay. Then you kept reading, and then you're like, oh. And then it's like, okay, wow, that was clever. And then that makes you want to like. You're really good. How did you write this?
Do you know how I came up with that,
I know we were going to talk about
Barbara?
the Playboy Mansion, but
I'm going to tell you
how?
I sat, okay, but I want to tell you how I came up with this because if I can do it, anybody can. I was sitting after you read the preface, okay, it explains, but this part is not in my preface, so I'll say it. When I decided to write the book, because I'd basically given up on everything and was going through sort of like how the fuck did I get here? When my name was in the headlines and they plastered me all over the world as 48-year-old playmate, I was like, is that what I like? That's just like what I've boiled
Is that
down to.
it? Is that my title? Is that who?
So I wanted to examine how did I get here and who am I and what have I contributed to the world. And so I sat at my kitchen table with a paper and a pen and started trying to figure it out. And I started listing, and I was being self-deprecating. I was in a pouty mood, and I was just starting to list like everything I've done. And then I had to laugh at myself because they are all the things that you are taught as a little girl not to do. Those are bad things.
Yeah.
and I did them. Yes, I did them, and that's what's funny about it.
I love it. I think it's so great. And I haven't even picked up a book and started reading it and stuck with it, but I took this one to Vegas. I have it in the pictures. Did you see that? I was reading your book, Lounging in the Sun at the Wind Pool.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't see that on Twitter? Oh, yeah. I said currently reading, and I tagged you, and I put it on Instagram story. Oh, they took down my Instagram story. I guess I had too risque of a photo. I must have way worse.
One day I must have missed a day on Instagram and missed it.
Well, I'm going to put it up again.
I'm sorry. Well, thank you for posting that.
Yeah. It was just my legs and then my hands
I didn't get to see it.
It was that picture I texted to you, and I was just holding your book, and I said currently reading unrated, and it clearly shows you. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Okay.
And you're probably thinking, well, wouldn't you like to interview me after you read the book, Barbara? But no, I don't. I want to do
know me
both.
well. Actually, for everybody else that's approached me with a podcast, I always say I don't talk to anyone until they read the book because that's what I want to promote is my book. And if you didn't read it, then you don't know anything about me. But since you know me personally, obviously I'm making an exception.
And did you know we are not having you on because of your book? We're having you on because you're one of my best friends and favorite Playmate sisters, and we're doing a Playboy Playmate series where we just ask you about your Playboy and then your experience with Playboy, and then at the end we promote whatever you're doing. But so just so you know, we love you even before your book, and we are proud of you because of your book. And excited. And that'll be part 2, you on our Roku channel, Life, Laughter, Happiness, on our TV channel. If you would like to come on, we would love to have you.
Of course I'll do that.
And then we could really promote the heck out of the book.
Do you have Roku, Carrie?
Ask my son. I don't.
Okay, if you do,
it's an app, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure I do, and if we have a Fire TV, so I think it comes with that, right?
Yes. You know what, Johnny? I will walk her through that later. Okay. We have so much to cover here, and not a very long amount of time. Back to the Playboy story. The Playboy story. I want to know, when was the first time you met Hugh Hefner? What was that like?
Well, he was still married to Kimberly back then, and I had been warned by Marilyn Grabowski. I had been warned because I was invited to a Sunday dinner, and back then, it was a nice day, so it was out the buffet outside, and I was warned, make sure you say hello to Kimberly first, whatever you do, like not half. So, yes, I was warned. Yeah, so I got there, and they were all already seated, and Hef is the first person to see me come walking along. So he stands right up, and I went, oh, no. Because I'm supposed to say hi to Kimberly first. Yeah.
Oh.
And
did you say that?
But
or to yourself?
No, I didn't say it out loud. I was just nervous.
But inside.
And then,
she made you so nervous.
Well, that's just what Marilyn said. And then I sat down right next to Kimberly, and she was very nice to me. And she kept saying, oh, we could be sisters. We look alike. And I didn't exactly agree with that. I don't think we look alike, but she's beautiful.
Same coloring.
So, she was very nice to me. And then, the story gets to be, about 200 pages long. But they soon.
But was it an
after,
awkward moment? Wait, was it an awkward moment when Hef was there? You didn't say hi to him. You got a little flustered.
I did.
Did you guys laugh about it later?
Because, no, I don't even remember if I ever told him, but I had to say hi to him first because he's the only one that was standing up at the dinner table when I walked up.
Okay.
He rose up, so I had to say hi to him first, and then he invited me to sit down, and right next to Kimberly. So it was all good.
Did you think he was good?
And
I know he was married, so it was different at that time, but. I mean, it probably was really exciting.
Very soon after they split up, and it was very soon after, and he started asking me out, and
would he call you?
Yeah, I tell the whole long sordid story in the book. I started to keep referring to my book. I just don't want to repeat myself.
That's okay.
But I have to remember that no one else has heard it except me. So.
Well, don't do all the details, just like in a nutshell, because we asked every playmate about it.
I couldn't if I tried. There's so many. It's so detailed. But basically, he started asking me out, and I was saying, well, no, because you're married. And then, it was like, well, it's going to be public in the papers this Friday that we're splitting up, and I was like, uh-oh, like now I have no excuse, and I didn't want to lose Playmate of the Year was the main thing because I thought, oh shit, Kimberly's gonna hate me, and then I'll definitely not get Playmate of the Year.
Yeah, but a date with him. It's
I love him, but
where'd you go? To Cedric? I mean, where do you go? Was he going out? Did he take you out to dinner?
Yeah, but many times it turned into a long 20-year friendship that most people probably don't know about. Where
I know
came to my house. They came to my house many times. My son and I were.
But did you like him?
Mansion.
When he first.
I love.
Hold on.
I liked him very much.
Okay, when you were up for Playmate of the Year, and you met him, did it go through your mind like, oh, that man is handsome and cool, and be nice to ever, be closer with him? And then when you were able to, did you say, oh, he's good looking and great, right? Or was it more of a love, and I just want to be, close with him that way?
None of that. What happened is my relationship with him is probably very different than most are hearing about because he did not approach me in a sexual way. It was more of a companionship and someone to help him get over his divorce. And
you look like Barbie Benton. I told you that.
Oh God, yeah, that too. He used to tell me, "You're just like Barbie. You talk like Barbie. You like to travel like Barbie. You like animals like Barbie." I'm like, I'm not Barbie.
Everything.
But
did you
anyway,
ever meet Barbie Benton?
What?
Did you ever meet Barbie Benton?
Yes, I did. I ended up doing a charity event with her a couple of years later. She wasn't very friendly.
Did you share with her what Hef said?
Yeah, no, I didn't tell her any personal details. I was just like, hi, I'm a playmate. And I was just so excited to meet her. And she was like, oh, good luck with that, and walked away from me.
No way, really?
Disappointed. Yeah.
I met her at the Playmate of the Year party.
Even when I was a little
you know what?
kid, like, what?
Me too. I met her, but I was 40 pounds overweight, pregnant with twins. So I guess she wasn't intimidated. She was super nice and took a picture with me. But I mean, who wants that picture? Like, I don't. I didn't look
maybe
so
I
good.
caught her in a bad moment. I don't know.
No, she maybe that is what she really is like. That is horrible. Wow. And she's this very tiny person.
Like the half. To finish the half thing, we didn't even go out alone. Like, I would bring like a friend. We'd even bring her cat in the limo with us sometimes. I mean, like, then we'd meet up with his friends. So it was more of like a friendship, kind of a dating of friendship. There was no sex. And then when it came down to it, I did not want to be a reflection. You have to understand where I was coming from. I had just been the girlfriend of someone in TIFF for 4 years who died. And I certainly didn't want to get involved again with somebody that I was going to be a reflection of them. I wanted to be my own person, not a celebrity girlfriend. And and I certainly didn't want somebody to die before me again. And the odds were that he was going to. And of course I couldn't say that to him. Yeah, but he asked me if age was the problem, and I honestly I lied and said no, but yes, for me it was. And I don't.
Do you
judge
think you could have
any
married
girl?
him?
I don't even. Well, of course, over the years, because we stayed so close for 20 years. So. Believe me, there was many a time when I thought I fucked up. You know what? Like, he loves me. He loves my son. I couldn't deal with him having 6 other girlfriends or anything. But I thought, even once he offered to be one-on-one with me, and when he was with Brandy, Mandy, Sandy, he said, "You just let me know when you're ready for a serious relationship." And I don't know if he ever actually would have, because I never took him up on it. But believe me, I thought about it many times, and I even went out with him after he broke up with. This is not in my book, so I'll say it. I couldn't fit everything in my book. But I even went out with him after he broke up with Holly. So I was already in my 40s. So there goes the myth that he only likes girls in their 20s, because he was still interested in me, and I couldn't fit it all.
I think
in my
you were
book,
special.
But that was the what?
I think you were special, though.
Well,
you really were.
To tell you the truth, I know I was very special to him, and to be honest with you, I didn't want to mention in my book that I ever. It took me 16 years of knowing him to have sex with him. It took me 16 years before I gave him a chance, and that was after Holly and him broke up. And originally,
talk about making
book,
a man wait. Oh my God!
Right. So, but originally, after I read the whole chapter to myself after I finished it, and it would have cheapened my friendship with him to include it in the book. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not. You're the first, person I'm telling, especially publicly. But I'm not ashamed of it. But I didn't want it to take away from how special our friendship was, because people would get distracted by it, because unless you hear me say it, like I'm going to explain it to you, you wouldn't understand. But I gave it a chance, and I woke up, in his silk pajamas in his bed, and at like 6 a.m, and went, "This isn't for me." Like, there's valets outside and butlers outside and twins sleeping in the other room, And I was like, I just had a freak out. Like, I was just like, this isn't, I can't do this. And I wish I could have, but I had to explain to him. He called the next night and asked me out, and I lied and said I couldn't get a babysitter. And I knew damn well. And he said, "Mary told me to pay your babysitter." And I'm like, then I knew I just said, look, I have to be honest with you. You know, it's not about that. I said, it's just not my comfort zone. Like, you know, it's even after all these years, it's just overwhelming to me. And it was. It just, like, I couldn't, maybe I'm an idiot, but I couldn't picture myself living that life, you know, like.
No, I
don't know.
I'm glad that moment happened,
well, it's not
because you sat up. No, I mean, it isn't. And you sat up, you had a mini, like, little panic attack. I've had that too, where you just feel like, this is not my world. This is not me. I don't want this. There's, you know, a lot going through your mind, and I'm glad that moment happened. So you knew for sure and don't have regrets. I mean, hey, you couldn't even handle it for like that minute. What about the rest of his life?
And it was nothing about him. It really wasn't anything about him. He was never less than wonderful to me. It was just the feeling that I'm used to living in a house without other people in it, like no butlers walking around. I don't know. It was just overwhelming.
It can give you anxiety.
Other girls seem to adapt to it quite easily, but I don't know.
No.
I was just overwhelmed.
12 people. One time I counted the people when I was with Mark, and it was 12 people per morning that I would walk by. The wood polisher, the marble guy with the big marble machine. Every single day he did this to his house. Then down in the garage, the car guys, they'll take your bag to your car. I don't want them to. I don't even want to say hi. I don't want to see anybody. That was the only time in my life that I ever had to see a counselor. I get it, Carrie.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Then you get it. You know.
I get a lot about you, and you don't even know. And thanks for sharing something so special. And I also get that because some things in my life I don't want to talk about because it does cheapen the relationship, and it's a kind of a love cord that we have to that person. We don't want to break that, and I totally get that one too. So good for you. And you know what? It feels great at this time in your life, I bet, to really know who you are. And now you have your life down in print, and it's successful. I see all of your promotions and your signing and your interviewing a lot of times, a multitude of times during the day. You're on the radio. So I commend you. Good job. What a nice book you wrote.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It took me 2.5 years, and I don't think if it wasn't for coronavirus, I probably still wouldn't be done with it. So there's the silver lining right there. But yeah, it got, when that all happened, I was just like, you know what? I thought the book was done. An agent had it for a year, and I hadn't looked at it in almost a year. And, I was getting blown off by the agent and, given all kinds of runarounds, industry people and whatnot. And then when the COVID happened, I just said, you know what? We don't know if we have tomorrow, and I'm not waiting around anymore for anyone to give me permission or to give me approval. I'm taking matters into my own hands, and I'm doing it. And I created my own publishing company. I called Arnie Freytag. He couldn't do it, but he referred me to someone else. And Kim, who's Kimberly X, Kimberly Hill, the makeup artist for Playboy. I called her the third week of the quarantine. They turned my living room into a photo studio. I bought that bodysuit on Amazon for $30 because we weren't allowed out to shop. And that's my cover.
Yeah,
and
cute.
So I'm proud of myself. I'm extremely resourceful and self-taught. I taught myself how to do all of this, and it's not easy at all. It's not easy. It's been a huge pain in the ass, believe me. But and I kept going, well, it's going to feel so rewarding when the book is in my hands. And it does, but it doesn't. It does, but because I haven't really been able to have a release party or do anything celebratory about it, it's kind of, I don't know. Maybe
you know what we should do, Johnny? Okay, when we go on the TV channel and we do our episodes there, we could have up to 75 people on. It's called Blue Jeans. And
That's right.
We give them the link. We could have a party Like that
fun.
for you, Carrie. Oh, let's do that for sure, Johnny. Yeah, we'll get all the Playmates 7 in only, or, Playboy people that you like, and they can pop in. We'll just do it to any Playboy person. All the executives. I mean, you have lifelong friends that you've made with Playboy. I mean, everybody's there for us still, I feel. I feel like, if I called Barry Lesh or somebody like that, unfortunately, Tony Lynn is gone. But
yeah, I know so much. I don't know if you know Gary Rosenson, but he's still probably my best male friend, and he was my when he first started out in marketing. It was my Playmate year, and he was my chaperone on his first. It's a funny story. Again, it's in my book, but we were still. He ended up being like the head of everything, of Playboy, head, and then he's not
good
there.
Friend to have.
Terry Thomerson is the only one left at Playboy that I know, but that's not what it was when we were around. We had the good old days.
No, but
but
back to how you're a businesswoman. I mean, we had all of these wonderful, successful businessmen that worked at different departments in Playboy. They became our friends. Yes.
Cindy Ruckworth, she proofread my book for me. She was one of my test readers.
Oh.
We're so close.
Awesome.
So and Donna Anderson just visited me a couple of months ago. So so for anyone that's listening that doesn't know, they were the PR team, and they headed Playmate Promotions, which is the department that gave us work.
And I'm in touch with BJ Turner, the director of Playmate Promotions for a long time.
I just got Facebook friends with her. Again, I reconnected with her. I love her.
We need to go over. She wants us
family.
to have dinner at her house. Yeah. So, yes, you have all that, and that's wonderful. And you learned a lot from Playboy, didn't you? You've always been such an entrepreneur. I mean, your fudge company, and other things, tons of things. And you're just such a good businesswoman.
I'm not doing the fudge anymore because people only bought it around the holidays, and so it really wasn't worth it to keep. And it was sort of like directly opposite of the business that I'm doing with my dad, which is a weight loss and anti-aging product that I'm about to relaunch.
I did see that.
Not that you need. Yeah, you don't need to lose any weight, so I didn't offer you any, but
I
if
do
you want to try, I'll send you
sometimes.
some.
Yes, because it's so hard to maintain. And, it's harder now, and especially the coronavirus, it's harder to maintain. So anything that helps that is natural, and your dad's a scientist. And so, yes, I thought, well, I want some. So, okay. Good.
Yeah, well, we're about
wonderful.
I'm about to relaunch the whole brand, and now we have 3 flavors, so I will hook you up.
Okay, awesome. But I wanted to go way back to a little bit with your childhood. What kind of kid were you? And also, how did you feel about yourself? Did you know that you were beautiful? Did you look in the mirror and say, oh, I want to be a model? How did people treat you kind of through adolescence? And then what did your parents say? I usually ask, when you were younger, they cared about you doing Playboy. You came out when you're 28, so you're probably not really caring by then, but I still want to know, how did your mom and dad react?
So
touch upon that a little bit.
My
starting
family
as you were like
weird.
A little girl. They are weird?
Well, when I was little, I was very lonely because I was always the youngest. My sister was 1 year older, and she was quite the tomboy, and my neighbors and my mom's friends' kids were all older than me. And so I was left out. I was alone a lot, and I didn't have a tight bond with my mother. And then her and my dad got divorced when I was only 2. And, so there was, custody battles and the drama that, weighed on me. And then I started to bloom at 10 years old. I get my period, and I get boobs at 10 years old.
Yeah, I read that. I read a little bit about that chapter.
I got unwanted attention, and I was very embarrassed. They teased me. They called me little tits, and then the other girls got tits, and then they called me Dolly Parton and big tits, and Barbie Benton, oddly enough, because she was a big thing in the 70s at this time, and I looked like her when as a kid. So anyway,
yes, you did.
So then,
and now,
So anyway, I then things turned around for me. You know, by the time middle school came around, and you know the braces came off, and you know, it was, you know, I became pretty. I went through my ugly duckling weird phase, and then somebody told my mom, you know, she's a real classic beauty. You should get her into modeling school. So I started to go to modeling school, and I was like,
what age?
16.
Was
you know, I 16.
Carrie, when you just got the braces off, you were 16, and that's when. No, there was a big change.
Yeah, I think it was 15, 16, something like that. And I went to, I started going to modeling school in Worcester, Massachusetts. And, of course, not like there's many modeling opportunities there, but, you know, I did some car shows and fashion shows and things. And then I was kind of wild. I was wild. I had an older boyfriend. We lived on a dead-end dirt road in the country. And, you know, we had horses and sheep and chickens and stuff. And
what
and
city?
You know, horses, like sheep on a farm. Geese would chase me to the school bus. You know, like it was the country life.
What city?
And
what city was this?
It was a little town called Hardwick, Massachusetts.
Oh,
very center of Massachusetts. Yeah, with more cows than people.
Beautiful.
Like very small town. And so I started dating this guy. There was a family that lived. There was only like 4 houses on the street, but the last house had this family that had 7 kids, and the oldest brother had moved away because I don't know, he was living with his girlfriend because he was a grown up. But they broke up, and he moved back home. And one day I saw him driving by on his motorcycle, and I was standing outside, and that was, I don't know, I don't remember. I don't remember how many years I was with him. I don't know, 2.5 maybe before I got kicked out of my house for dating him. I don't know. But basically, I had no business dating a 22-year-old. I know, but I still had my shit together. But I got kicked out of my house anyway and forbid to see him. And I was crushed, and I had to go. Yeah, I had to go move to Memphis because my father was living there. He was a scientist. So
if you're in love, puppy
love
is so strong.
Yeah, and I got whisked away from, and I was the most popular girl in school, voted most popular, best dressed, nicest smile. Yeah, but we were, you know, it was like redneck Kickville, a small town, and we had no money. So I got culture shock because I get just thrown out of my life one day, and I have to move to Memphis, Tennessee, and now my dad, who I'd barely gotten to see my whole life. Now I'm in the richest neighborhood, like the Beverly Hills of Memphis, in a gated community with a lake and a boat. And my wing of my upstairs, I had 2 bedrooms with their own bathrooms, my own living room with my own big screen TV, and like my own. Wow. Well, my dad did well, and so it was like going from one extreme to the other, like going from rags to riches. And then on top of that, it was extremely, extremely lonely because it was my senior year and nobody would speak to me. And so it was not only the largest high school in Tennessee, but I was in the wealthiest neighborhood. And I'd be like at the bus stop at the corner, and like other people's moms in their fancy cars would like pick them up. They'd all pile in and like leave me standing there, not even say hello to me. I mean, it was.
Oh my gosh, Carrie! And so nothing mattered. No riches could
it was my,
even
it was
replace.
My senior.
How could your mother do that?
Year.
Wow, that's not cool.
Yeah. Well, the story goes on, but So I.
Can we read that in your book too?
About
which
this?
Part? I wondered about the mom.
I touched
your mom.
on that part a little bit, but I just went into a little more detail with you. But
I had
to go to to Memphis, and then that's where I got called down to, while I'm this miserable and I'm getting A's and B's, I get called down to the office one day, and they say I don't have enough credits to be a senior in Tennessee, and I have to, it's not the same as Massachusetts, and I have to go back and be a junior. And I was like,
oh no,
that.
Another year of that? Oh no.
Yes.
Okay, how are you dealing with this?
And by the way, well, you'll read this in my book. I was going to college a year early when I was in Massachusetts. I had arranged to be going to college at the community college a year early and still graduate with my class. So I was actually a year ahead in Massachusetts, and then she sends me off to live in Memphis, and then I have to fucking stay back and be a junior. So yeah,
and you're behind in Memphis. That's weird. That is absolutely crazy.
It was so awful. So I became, for about 2 minutes, I was a dropout. I got a job at Houston's restaurant as a hostess, and then I enrolled. There was a local John Robert Powers modeling school there, so I started going to modeling school, and there I met more hot rocker chicks that got me looked like into hanging out with bands and stuff, and fun started to begin. And at my job at Memphis, at the Houston's in Memphis as a hostess, all the other people, the other waiters and everybody, I was a dropout, and they were all going to Memphis State University. And after so many times of saying, enjoy your meal, passing out menus, I realized that if I wanted to be a journalist, a broadcast journalist, and if I was going to do that, I needed to go to college. So I didn't even tell my parents because they're so negative, but I took my GED, passed, took my ACT without even studying, by the way, got scores high enough to get into Memphis State University, and I went to college at the same time as the other kids in my class. So I did things my way.
Wow.
Unadvised by any parents. Well, you'll hear the rest. It gets crazier. I don't want to keep talking about it. I could go on and on. But what your question about what they thought of me doing Playboy.
But hold on, Carrie. Hold on, Carrie. Hold on. I know you. Don't worry. I know where you were in your story, but you were self-made. I mean, you got it from inside yourself. It seems like all of your motivation with how you grew up. So you know what? We're not always a product of our parents. We are ourselves. I mean, look, and then, you did all of this entrepreneuring, and it came from you. That's amazing. And that's all I wanted to say about that. I mean,
I needed to hear that. I needed to hear that.
As a girlfriend, we don't sit around and say, "Oh, Carrie, tell me what you were like as a little girl." Much. So it's really great to find out deeper stuff that has happened to you and how you really did become who you are, who I know, who I met when you were just on top of the world. I didn't see all of that. The way up to get there. That's, to me, so interesting, too, with people. So, wow, thanks for sharing more than even what is in your book about certain topics with us. You mentioned that you did that, and that is cool. So thank you. Okay, and so we were going to then go into how you were starting to tell us how they felt about you doing Playboy. I take it you didn't really care?
Well, no, I didn't care. I mean, the story goes on, but basically, I had moved to LA by the time I was 19, and I lasted in Memphis 2.5 years. So it had been, about 7 to 8 years, I was 27. I'd done a lot during those 7 years. No, I didn't need my parents' approval or didn't care what they thought. And because my mother was this hippie, artist who had nude paintings, her nude drawings all over our house growing up, and was embarrassingly open about sex and was always telling us how beautiful the human body was and nudity is natural and all that stuff, I couldn't imagine in a million years she'd have a problem with it. And I told her as soon as I found out, which was 3 months before it came out, and there was no problem with it. My dad, he's another open-minded one, so I didn't think he'd have a problem, and he never has. And oddly,
so maybe you
my
did
mother
care. Maybe you did care. You wanted them to like it or care, or enough to tell them about it.
I cared more what my grandparents thought, to tell you the truth. It was my parents. I expected them to be fine with it because they're such open-minded people. But sexually, but my mother, yeah, she knew. But then when it came out, she decided to stop speaking to me for 6 months. She wouldn't speak to me. She tried to say she almost got fired from her job as a teacher. I'm like, come on, it's not 1950, it's 1997. Her name isn't even in my like, why would anyone even know I was her daughter? She lived 3,000 miles from me, and she had moved out of the town that we grew up in. She was living in another state. So the whole thing. Strange. But it was her making it about her, because if it was about her, then it was fine, and I knew that. So I sent her a letter 6 months later saying basically every decision I've made in my life is because of you. You raised me, and I'm a part of you, and you taught me that the human body is a beautiful thing, and thank you for that, and blah, 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 blah. And when I put things that way, then suddenly she was speaking to me again. So, now we haven't spoken in like 7 years. So I really tried not to say hardly a damn thing about family in my book, because it's a fine line, and it would have been, all my friends wanted to know more about my mother, and I'm like, I can't, because then my sister will hate me. She made me promise not to. Well, now my sister's not speaking to me, and I'm going, oh, okay, well, I ended my fucking life for you. I kept things out of there that would have been more interesting out of respect for you, and now you're not going to fucking speak to me? And I didn't, you read it, I didn't say a thing bad about her. I cannot understand what I did wrong, and I just give up. The advice that I give everyone now that's writing a memoir, do it your way. Don't worry about what anybody thinks. I'm like, we're born alone, we die alone. Don't fucking worry about what anybody else thinks, because they'll probably be mad at you anyway. So just do what you want.
Good advice.
For yourself.
And and so you are completely happy with all your decisions and how the book turned out. I am assuming you are. And what a great feeling.
Yeah, I'm proud of it.
I'm
really proud of it. But as an author, you can never be done. Like, there was just
can't you write another book?
Where
it sounds like you have a lot more to say.
That was my life story, and it's long already. It's 340 pages, and I edited it, trying to like make it. You want it to be like a fun, good read. You don't want any boring spots. So, but as the author, because it's my life, like as I'm talking to you, I'm remembering all these other details that I didn't put in the book. And like when I was reading my audiobook out loud the other day, like I kept tripping up my words, because as I was reading it, I'd suddenly remember like something else that happened during them that I should have put in there. So, but basically, one day I had to throw my hands in the air 2.5 years in and just go, it has to be finished now. This is it. It's done. I could tweak it for another 10 years and it'll never be put out. But I spent so much time, hand picking. I'm so glad I self-published, because I got creative control. That cover would not be as good if I let a publishing company control it. I knew what I wanted, and every single photo placed where I want it, that tells the story that I chose. I'm just so glad that I get one chance to tell my life story, unless I write another one in 50 more years. But,
right. Did you come up with the concept of the cover, which I really like? You said that you got that cat suit, which is amazing, with the zipper.
Yeah, I changed the title several times. I played like paper dolls, printing out the photo, making little banners, trying to place. The original title was the original title was the naked. Yeah, the original one was The Naked Truth, but then when I went was perfect for a Playmate, but by the time I went to publish it, there was 2 other books that May that came out with the title The Naked Truth, and one was by a Playmate and the other one was by a best-selling New York author. So I was like, all right,
and I
well,
think that we
I
had
can't
that
use that
Playmate
now.
on. We had that Playmate
Well,
on.
we do?
She was,
oh.
Yeah, she was the one who was accused of accusing Bill Cosby.
No, it wasn't her.
Not
it was
Donna Spear.
Oh, God.
Donna Spear.
Oh, yes,
I believe
Donna
that was
Spear.
her.
It was her.
Yes.
I didn't know she was involved in the Cosby thing.
Mm. Oh, wow, good memory, Johnny. But I just love the whole concept, how it's called Unrated, and you have your hand on your zipper with a, like, kind of a sly look on your face, and it's just,
you know what I wanted it to be?
Photo tells
I said,
the story as well.
The reason I contacted Arnie first is because I said I want my book cover to look like the cover of a Playboy magazine. That's what I want. And I said, who better to ask than you? But he couldn't do it, so he referred me to a friend of his, and he said he can. I showed him the kind of shot I wanted, and he's like, yes, he can do that. And the guy was great. Goes by the name
He sure was great. And your hair, you've always had the most amazing hair, and just your body, and it's just simple too. It's not a lot on there, and I bet it looks amazing on the shelves. What bookstores do you go and look?
Well, it's not going to be in
hey,
stores.
There's my book.
No,
does Amazon?
No,
okay, I got mine on Amazon.
Yeah, when you self-publish a book, you don't get into stores unless you physically go knock on their door and like talk to the manager. And you know what? There's no point in doing that. 80% of the world's books are sold on Amazon. So, there's really no point unless you're.
No point.
Yeah, unless.
I mean, I don't know the book business, so I'm sure you also learned a lot about that as well.
Most bookstores are out of business. That tells you something.
Yeah. But it's sad. I like it. I'm glad you're doing the audio version. I love that too. I get those as well. And I have the
I
book
listen to a lot of
Kindle.
books on audio. I love books on audio, but it's more special to me though, my book in print, because of all the photos and the letters I printed, the personal memorabilia, concert tickets. Like
Right.
I so carefully handpicked all of the stuff that tells my life story while you read it. So I really wanted people to have it in print first, and then
there's nothing like a
absolutely
tangible.
like refuse to reprint and buy the audiobook. And believe it or not, the audiobook
copy.
is a.
I'm holding it in my hand, and when I see you, I'm going to bring it so you can sign it for me. And I'm collecting all of the friends that are going to be a part of the book club. And, oh, gosh, this is just amazing. And, of course, you want to hold a book. That's just what you want. But for some people, maybe they can't see, or they're just too busy, or they like to do this in the car, or they want to hear your voice.
Usually my problem, like I had the eye surgery, to correct my vision so I can see now. But before I did that, I never read anymore because it was like the letters were too small. Somebody actually just sent me their self-published book to read, and I picked it up and I went, oh fuck! Like, why did he pick the print that's so small? Even with my eye surgery, I cannot see this. So, like, I made sure that mine has nice print that's big enough for people to see.
And the nice font. I like the font. Everything. I mean, it's just perfect. And I love the photos and all of that, too. And I think it's just
Did you see your photo in the back?
I didn't see my photo in the back. I will check that out.
You're in the in the
with
gallery.
The bunny ears.
You and Kurt.
Oh, okay. And did you? I think you put.
That's right. I have you at the 60th in the bunny suit and the Playboy chapter, and then I think I have you. Then me and you and Kurt in the gallery.
I love that photo,
I have a
and
question.
it is my personal photo, and I framed it in 8x10. I have it on the wall.
Is it
I
okay
love that photo.
Kurt
it okay
actually
to
sent
ask
it to you one day recently.
Sorry.
Hmm?
Is it okay to ask the Playboy Mansion question now?
Ask Barbara.
Is it?
Barbara says yes.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. Our show, it goes for 90 minutes if we need to. But I did tell Carrie we go for an hour. So it's up to you, Carrie, though, because it's already 6:15. If you have time to tell us your funniest story at the Playboy Mansion, like Johnny wants to know,
Right.
do you have time? Do you have time? And then we'll close the show
by
by
time. I just don't know if I can
shouting.
pick one story. That's the problem.
And was it funny or was it scary or sexy? Maybe there's a sexy. I would have asked.
So
what's
many
the sexiest
over
one?
20 years.
Okay, let's go with the
Oh my
sexiest
God.
one. Did you ever go into one of those rooms? Okay, you know the game room, and then it has the two kind of secret rooms.
Yeah, but I have a great
with the
story
blue bed.
about there, but I'll totally ruin my book if I tell you that one.
Okay. Oh, okay, that's in there, huh? Okay. I love it that you have that.
I met Howard Stern in that room, and I tell the story in the book. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Well, Johnny, she has, a lot of stories. But okay, let's narrow it down then. Okay, who was you like to know this too? Who was your favorite celebrity that you met at the Playboy Mansion? Johnny always likes to know that.
That I met at the mansion. I was going to say Leonardo DiCaprio, but I don't remember if I met him at the mansion because I became friends with him and his social circle, so we were always at the same nightclubs and things. So honestly, I can't remember if I met him there, but yes, he's on the top of my list. As the coolest, nicest, sweetest,
what about
and most famous.
Okay. Yeah, and another playmate mentioned him too.
Oh, I
what
met
about
Dennis Quaid
comedian?
there, and that's not in my book. I met Dennis Quaid there and started dating him, and it's kind of a funny story because I couldn't fit. Not to sound like a slut or anything, but like I couldn't fit every celebrity I've ever dated in my book. So
that's what I was thinking. Because I know
I didn't want it to be. I didn't want it to be like a complete trashy tell-all, So I only talked about the most significant relationships I had, basically, and then threw a few fun stories in there. But here's one that's not in the book, and it's a great story. So Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid were going through their divorce. It was public, and Victoria Silvstedt and I were flying first class to London to go to some promotion, and Dennis Quaid was on our flight. So Victoria and I were getting drunk off of our asses on this night flight and laughing so hard the whole flight. There was this male flight attendant. It was this gay guy. It was his last flight. He was retiring, so he kept just pouring the booze, and people were complaining about us being loud, and he didn't care, and we didn't care. We were laughing. And then when we go to get off the plane, Dennis Quaid was sitting right behind us. When we go to get off the plane, he was right in front of me, and I whip out my Playboy business card. Remember, they used to give us business cards, and I'm like, "Excuse me, if you ever want to go to a party at the Playboy Mansion, here, call me." And I
that was awesome.
Give him, I was totally just it was just my way of being flirty. And anyway, so then I don't remember what time of year that was, but it was hot out, so probably in the summer, I don't know. And then by Halloween, there was a Halloween party at the mansion, and I see Dennis Quaid there, and I go, "Excuse me," I go, "I'm the one that invited you here." And his eyeballs bug out of his head like a schoolboy in trouble, and he's like, what? And I go, "Remember, on the flight to London, I said I gave you my card and said if you ever want to, you have to call me." And he's like, "Oh, yeah." He goes, "Oh, my God, I called every hotel in London trying to find you guys."
Oh, my gosh. That is funny. He wished that he would have said that right then and there. Oh, wow. You intimidated him.
Yeah, so that night, that's how I met, how we, got acquainted, and we started dating. I don't know why. I'm such an idiot. I've learned a lot of good things, but he was really nice. We went on some really good dates. I mean, he took me horseback riding up at the Sunset Ranch, and he took me to a Hindu temple and taught me to meditate, and he bought me the book, the Bhagavad Gita. I still have it. And
Cool.
yeah, he was really nice. We hung out at his house. He hung out at my house. And then, oh God, I'm telling you, I was an idiot. We had a date on a Tuesday night, and he stood me up. And so I got temperamental, mad, left him a nasty voicemail. Then he kept calling me back, trying to apologize, and I wouldn't speak to him. Would never speak to him again. And even though he was leaving me messages saying he was so sorry, he was shooting something, and they had night shoots, and he lost track of time because it was a night shoot. And, you just don't know night from day. So instead of forgiving him like a mature person, I completely just blew him off. And then I saw him again, like in a nightclub, again, like, I don't know, that year sometime. And he was walking by me, and he's like, "Can I call you again?" And I go, "No," and started laughing in his face and kept walking. So I'm a complete...
Oh, my gosh.
I know.
Well, I guess you weren't in love with him.
Why did I overreact like that? Looking back, there was nothing else not to like except that he stood me up. But honestly, I can't I don't know why I did it. Maybe I don't think I was seeing any. I don't remember who else I was seeing. Knowing me, somebody back then. I don't know. I don't remember.
That is crazy. And we do things like that sometimes. And I look back and I'm like, hey, if I would have handled that one differently, my whole life could have been it could have gone a different way. And it is weird. And, we get to this age, and you said we're the same age, and we are, and you ponder back. And what a better way there's no better way to do it than to write a book. I mean, you dig deep. You have to really try to remember, not just dates and, facts, but memories.
It wasn't all pleasant either, believe me. It wasn't pleasant
no.
because I had to relive emotions that I had stuffed down for a very long time. I had to, when it came to writing about past relationships, I completely, as you know, I dated John Elway for many years, and I completely forgot what I saw in him. And I was madly in love with him, but I had pushed that down so far to get over it that I was trying to write something nice and trying to explain the relationship from the beginning, going, I can't remember what I saw in him. So then I remembered that I have an ex-boyfriend box. I have this black shoe box. It's up in my guest room closet. And every time I break up with someone, I climb on like the tallest ladder I have, and I throw their old letters and pictures like in this box. It's like a coffin, So I remembered that box, and I took the box down, and I reread all the cards and the letters, and I looked at the pictures, and it brought back all my memories. So
it does.
Oh, and plus
it
does.
And
people that were my good friends of mine at the time, I would go through, like remembering who I was close with at that time, and call them up and ask them if they'd read it. And believe me, my friends remembered more of the fights I had with him than I did. I'm like, what? I forgot about that. So it was a good thing.
And I remember that time.
Jar my memory.
I remember that time. I remember a lot of times that you went through.
I just heard yesterday he was diagnosed with COVID, so I wish him well. I hope he's okay.
Wow. I know. And we're dealing with that. But like you said, this book came out of it. It gave you time. And so many people that I know and myself, I have flourished in so many ways because of COVID. It's been good in certain ways. I'm so sorry for all of the people we lost, but it has been good for me in certain ways too. So I'm coping with it just fine.
Nicolas Cage had COVID? Did you say Nicolas Cage had COVID?
No.
I mean, no, Dennis Quaid.
No. Carrie?
No.
Carrie.
John Elway. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
I don't know what
the
happened.
football player. Well, see, he doesn't watch football.
Well, I don't either.
Okay, well, but
never
Johnny
did
wouldn't
before
know.
him, never have since. So, anyway, onward. What else?
Lots of celebrities, you were friends with and are friends with and worked with and dated, and it's a very colorful life. And I can't wait to finish your book. So where else can we find you? I know I've watched your Twitter.
Too. I mean,
what?
There's a lot about being a single mom.
Oh yeah. Gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, becoming a single mom, all that stuff is in there. Raising my son, traveling, finding myself.
Not easy.
It's kind of like, I explain it like it's like Trashy Tell All meets Eat Love Pray. You know, it's like a balance that I
And did
created.
you talk about taking care of yourself? And you know, I remember I saw you at the chiropractor. You took care of that. Do you talk about like wellness or spirituality?
I did not mention my back surgery in my book because, like I said, I couldn't mention everything because it's too much in my life to put in one book. But yeah, I had.
But that was a big
back
deal.
Surgery. It is. I've gone through a lot of major fucking things, and it makes me pissed off actually because I have a lot. As you know, if you're a playmate, we get so judged, and people think that just because of the way we look and that we were in Playboy, we've got everything handed to us and everything came easy. And you don't get dumped when you're a playmate. Like whenever I told people I got dumped when I was pregnant, they're like, "Well, didn't you know you were a playmate?" I'm like, yeah. Playmates get dumped
We're
too.
people.
Yeah. So
that's
and
why
I
I like
more
having
into the subject
you guys on.
in the book. You'll like it. But it's it's very real things happened. I went through 6 years of terrible pain. I drug one leg behind me by the time I had that surgery, and I was only 40 years old.
Were you injured?
And I had my. No, I think I'll never know for sure, but I think it happened when my son fell off of a bar stool. It was actually at John Elway's house in Idaho. My son was on a bar stool when he was like 2.5, and he slipped and he was going to fall onto the wood floor. So I scooped I threw myself onto the ground to scoop him up, so he would take the fall. And I slammed my hip really bad on the floor and threw my back out. So we had to find a chiropractor up there in Idaho. And then it was 6 years from that time where sometimes I'd be in bed for like a month at a time. Like I was incapacitated.
Oh, wow.
And the chiropractor would get better for like, a few weeks and it would go right back again. And finally, like 6 years later, I bit the bullet. I had surgery. And after the surgery, I actually grew. I got 3/4 of an inch of height back.
Oh, wow.
And then, a few
Are
years
you okay
later,
now?
I was diagnosed with. Yeah, I haven't had any back pain since, and that was 10 years ago, well, more 11 years. And they actually told me that if I got the fusion, it would only last 5 years. If I didn't fuse it, then it would last 1 year. I'd never be able to touch my toes again if I got the fusion, and I could do it anyway. And now it's been 11 years. I've never not been able to touch my toes, and I have not had pain since. They did diagnose. I injured my neck somehow after that, and then they wanted. I was just at the gym, and this trainer made me pull a rope that was really heavy, and my neck snapped. And I have something called degenerative disc disease, which is actually a condition, not a disease. But it basically means my discs are aging quicker than they should, thinning quicker than they should. And so the herniate, I'm prone to these things. So I didn't want to have neck surgery. So thankfully I found out about this natural thing called prolozone, vitamin B and ozone. And I had injections a month apart 3 times. This was after not being able to turn my head for a whole year. I went to a natural practitioner, had injections three times, never had to have surgery, never had pain again. But no one listens to me. I'm always giving people advice, like when I see them on Facebook and things, and they're complaining about their aches and their pains. I tell everyone about it, but nobody listens. It's not covered by
I will
insurance.
listen to it.
However, it was cheaper than my copay for my surgery, and there's no recovery time. So, it's a lot better of a deal.
Oh, wow. Because, and also when you lunged and you saved your child from injury, that really whacked your hip out. And that does it. That has caused my everything to be wrong since I was doing an advertisement with this electric bike, and it got out of control. The lady turned it up when I wasn't even looking, and she's like, changed my thing. Then I whacked into a fire hydrant so hard out with my hip. Okay, it went the wrong way. It threw me into the fire hydrant on my hip, and that has put my back out. I need to talk to you. Oh my God.
Yes,
and my neck.
I can give you some good advice. Actually, there's newer things since. I mean, the prolozone, I would definitely try that, but the stem cell therapy may work for you as well. And Suzanne Summers' latest book is, I'm obsessed with it. Why am I spacing? A New Way to Age. It's by Suzanne Summers, and it's interviews with all of these cutting-edge, like, anti-aging medicine doctors. And there's great information in there about the stem cell placement and she even talks about her daughter's knee was healed with prolozone in that book. So
oh my gosh, Carrie!
That's one of the few
you.
books I bought the hardcover, and then I bought the audiobook first, and it was so good. But not only did I listen to it several times, but then I had to buy the hardcover because I wanted the information handy right in front of me.
Oh, no,
so
we
here I
love
am
having
supposed to be promoting my book when I'm promoting Suzanne Summers' book, and I did the same thing on a podcast yesterday. I was supposed to talk about my book. I ended up promoting a friend of mine's book who's a drummer, but whatever.
That's okay, but that's what we do, you know. It really works like that, you know. We connect to people, and that's what we do in this world of being independent contractors, you know, celebrities you probably have modeled for 30 years and acted. We didn't even touch upon all the roles that you did.
Jesus.
But well, you are a playmate. Everybody's going to know. They're going to look up Miss June, 1997, and see Terry Stevens, and, you know, they can do the math.
I'm excited to talk to you. You know, I've actually, I think now I talk to so many people, I can't remember who I was telling this to yesterday, one of the rock and roll podcasts I did. But, you know, they asked me about being a playmate, and I said, I'm kind of disappointed that I haven't had more attention from Playboy fans, because it's such a big part of my book, and the word centerfold is in my title. But I'm much more well-known in the rock and roll scene. I'm more well-known because they all know me as Eric Carr's girlfriend, and the Van Halen model, and, you know, I have a huge fan base there, but I haven't really
smart.
I've had a lot of
promoted
VIPs. Yeah, well, I've had a lot of VIP fans go to my website and pay for the signed hardcover, and they'll identify themselves as the Playboy fans. But if Hugh Hefner was still around and Playboy was around, you know, he would have given me a great write-up in the Playmate News and helped me promote, and they would have, you know, he helped me promote my fudge, Centerfold Chefs, all my businesses. He always had my back.
They put my dancing in when I would win.
Story about Hef. Here's a Hef story that's not in my book that shows you what a wonderful guy he was. When I started my company, Centerfold Chefs, my catering company, and I got a production deal to do a presentation, you know, reel for it. And Hef said yes to me, you know, coming up to the mansion to shoot and all the stuff. And then that's right. I mean, I was with the crew. That's when I was on that awful cooking show that I can't mention or I'll get sued for every time I mention them. But I was on a cooking show. But we were promoting the show and my business, Centerfold Chefs, and Hef said that we could shoot at the mansion. So I show up at the gates with the crew and, you know, 2 cars full of people, and they won't let us on the property. And I'm like, what? So, of course, I call up there immediately, and I find out that's exactly when he had to sell it. And the people, the new people that came in, Hef said, yes, of course, we could use it. But the new people said, no, they can't, because they're not insured to be here. They're not under our insurance. And then I got a call from the company, and they told me that I could not use the name Centerfold Chefs because they owned the name Centerfold. They have that word trademarked. So I call Hef like crying, and I'm like, Hef, like they told me I can't use it, you know, like what this, and this was about the time, you know, him and Holly were breaking up. He had to sell the mansion around that time, and half the business and all that stuff. And this is right before that happened. And so he said, I'm going to write you a letter. He said that says that you can lease, that you have my permission to lease the name for free for the rest of your life. And I was like, perfect. I love you. My problems are solved. Right? So then right after that, okay, so first the mansion was to go. Then he had to give up most of his shares in the company. And then when he had to give up his shares in the company, they told me that Hef didn't have the power to do that and took it away from me. So that was the end of my son.
Oh, my gosh.
There you go. Fucking asshole.
Oh, no.
All that work, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a whole nother chapter about how sad it is that Hef's gone.
Hef had my back. He printed it in Playboy, like a big news thing about it. I mean, he tried. He had my back. He really did.
He really did. And oh my gosh, Carrie, we are doing something so special it's a tribute to Hef. We are going to choose Playboy Playmates to come on to our TV show. And we're going to bring a medium on, and we're going to channel Hugh Hefner. Would you like to be a part of that?
Wow, I would love to do that.
Okay.
I contacted a medium right before COVID. Her name is Tara.
Before you knew it was going to happen?
No, it was. This was years ago. It was actually. I don't know if you remember Morgan. He was Keith's stepson, a good-looking young kid that was always at the mansion. It was, his at the time girlfriend's mother is a medium, and so I was kind of like just putting off for years. I more wanted it so I could connect with Eric and let go of his spirit, and communicate with him. So I'm still so tied to him. And I need to make, a peace with it.
Yeah.
And I procrastinated for years, and then finally, right before the pandemic, I contacted her, and I was ready to do it, and then boom, the pandemic. So we kind of said, when this is over, we'll get together. And now it's been, 8? I lost track of time. I don't even know how long it's been.
Yeah.
How long has this
been? A long time.
9 months? 10? I don't know.
Since March. Let's see. Is that 8 months? Yes. It's been that long, and people are just now. That's why I went to Vegas, because they had canceled the Vegas weekend fun, which was supposed to be in April. So people are just now rescheduling
again?
it.
Like I'm in a little bubble here. I don't even know what goes on. I don't even know what goes on, like down the street.
It's not as many people, but I like it like that.
So do you have to social distance and wear masks? And is it hand sanitizer everywhere?
Yes, but it's not social distancing. That's up to you. But if you have your mask down, they're right on top of you, and they will have a mask for you, and they hand it to you very nicely too. They're not rude. It's wonderful. They're so happy, these employees, that you're there, because that's their livelihood, and they would say, thank you for coming. Please come back again. We need you, and people are very careful there. I felt very safe, and at the restaurants, they even have a mask holder for your mask and a fresh one right there for you with tongs. They hand it to you. But, these were 5-star restaurants, but, otherwise I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go if I felt like, okay, I'm going to really be in danger.
Yeah.
The most
my
dangerous
son
thing
and
is
I
the
took
flight.
a road trip up the coast, and it was really creepy because so many places people were just sitting on top of each other. They weren't, even though there were signs saying social distance, they were not social distancing. And we'd be like, okay, those people are coughing and sneezing over there. We're not going to eat here. Then we kept having to just go back to our nice hotel and stay there. Yeah.
Yes, and for the gambling, they had every spot that you are at the table was tall plastic. Everybody had their own plastic. I thought, hey, it should have always been like this. It kind of gives you your elbow room. So for me, I liked it. But, be careful. It's the airplane.
At the pool or at the restaurants, or where was the plastic?
The pool, I don't like it because you have to wear your mask when you're laying there sunbathing, but I did it. And then it's just
cover
the
my
same,
face
but
anyway,
not many
so I
people.
don't get any sun damage.
Yes. I just did it because the other people were there. I do not like sunbathing. It's a waste of time. I don't like it, but I did it. So, but what I wanted to have was those really great meals at my favorite restaurants and just get away, just try to have fun.
So can you eat indoors in Vegas?
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. Full. The restaurants are all booming. Mhm.
Wow.
And my favorite bars. And it's so much better because you can get a spot.
Really?
It's not crammed everywhere. Oh, I actually really liked it. Mhm. The way it is now. Yeah. So that's that. But okay, thank you for staying on longer. There's so much to cover with you, Carrie. And we thank you so much for coming on, and we're excited to have you on our TV channel, Life, Laughter, Happiness on Roku.
I'm excited
in the near future.
When do you think you'll have that up and running?
Oh, it's already up and running.
Well, we already have it up and running. It is already going.
Good.
The one that he's making for me, mine,
Yeah.
not yet.
What we're going to do is...
Oh, you know what he says?
Carrie,
hold on. Johnny, hold on. Johnny says, as soon as I come up with a title, so maybe you can help me, Carrie, come up with a title. And Johnny, please do not say the titles on air right now. And
I will.
maybe you could, because, you're very good at it, obviously. So, yes, and it'll be my own TV channel where I could just have whatever I want on.
Sometimes if you privately tell me, we'll have a powwow about it, and I'll see what I can come up with. How I came up with unrated, don't even ask. I was just walking down my hallway one day, and all of a sudden it just popped in my head. And I was like,
wow.
I ran to the computer really quick and searched to see if anybody else already used that, and they didn't. I was like,
I can't believe it.
I couldn't believe it either.
I know.
And then I went to, and you can't copyright a book title anyway, so I could have used it if someone else did, but I just didn't want to, especially like The Naked Truth. I wanted mine to be different. And so but then it was kind of tricky, I'll tell you, because I got red flagged by Amazon, and they put me in the erotica category. And when you're in the erotica category, they will not, if you search for the book, you can't find it. It's against their policies. So I basically I went through hell and back with them to try to convince them. I had someone else end up doing it that does it for a living as a favor for me, but she works for a book company because it's impossible to communicate with them. But finally she got through to them and convinced them that it's a memoir and it should not be red flagged. But because of their algorithm, just the word unrated made it sound like it must be erotica. So,
well, thank goodness.
Little things like that. I'm just there was a lot of roadblocks I went through that I didn't expect that were annoying, but
which makes it all
I'd be
more
happy
worth
to
it.
try to help you think of one.
Oh gosh, thanks. I mean, it would be fun. So, okay, I just want everybody to know where to find you too. I saw your numbers, your followers go skyrocketing on Twitter recently. So you have a big presence on Twitter. Good for you on that.
Yeah,
I noticed it.
No, I hover around 60,000 all the time on Twitter.
Yeah, well, that's a lot because I've seen it grow.
It's always been a lot, but Twitter's actually my favorite of the social media. I think that's why I have more on there than the other. I don't know. Facebook is just so personal. I like that no one's in my business on Twitter. If I write
that's how I feel about Instagram.
I don't want 50 personal messages after I make a post like Facebook people do. Are you okay?
I understand.
Yes, I'm fine. Yeah.
And that's why you do better on that. I prefer
Yes, people
Instagram.
don't
I
bug
just
me
like
on
that
Twitter.
whole thing. They love you, but I forced myself to do it, and now that I do it more, now I'm starting to like it more. So you just kind of have to plunge right in. But I love Instagram. But you're on everything, so Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. But do you have a fan?
Yeah, that's my Carrie Stevens page, and Carrie P. Stevens is just my private page. But I mostly keep all of my posts public anyway, so it doesn't I don't check friend requests because it would be a full-time job, and no, so I'm just I just post it on my page. I don't look at friend requests. I post the same things on both pages anyway, so it doesn't. You don't need.
Okay.
I would like to
tell you about.
I still get my.
I want to tell you about
I
something.
still get everything.
Okay, but Twitter, follow her there, but I do want to ask you to please join. I don't think you have yet. I'm not sure. My Playboy Playmates group. I've been running that for a while,
and I couldn't do it.
Oh, let me see if I have a friend request. I approve everybody, and I go on there every day and approve. So, and it's tons of people every day. It grew.
I tried to post a few times about my product because I was giving a special deal to Playmate for my dad's project, and I couldn't do it. And then I tried again with my book, and I couldn't do it. And then I don't know. I was going to ask you, and then I got busy. So whatever. At least we're talking about it now.
Okay. Yes, and I'll make sure that you have the friends request. But that group I have promoted your book on there a couple of times myself, and I copied them. Yes. Oh, of course. I am very proud of you.
Now I feel bad I didn't even see it because I was upset because I'm going, wow, there's only 4 Playmates that have even been supportive and posted about it and tweeted about it. Well, obviously, I didn't even see your post. Now,
Carrie, I wanted to tell you, have you ever played the game The Sims 4?
I'll do it again.
Oh, did the phone?
I didn't hear Johnny. Johnny, we didn't hear you.
Yeah, have you ever played the game The Sims 4?
What?
The Sims 4.
I don't even know what that is. What are you talking about?
Well, it's a computer game, and you meet people
I
and
don't
live in
play
houses
games.
And everything.
And
one of the things I've been able to do is I have this house. It's like a gamer. I have this house, and I made all the Playmates that have been on the show, and they're living in the same house.
Oh, God.
It's cartoon characters. Anyway, okay, I'll explain it really quickly. He plays a game. He's a gamer. And, he can create characters. So every Playmate that is on our show, he goes and creates his, cartoon character of that Playmate. Is it okay if he makes one of you?
Oh, of course.
Everybody so far said yes. Okay. Go for it, Johnny.
Right.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, well, we are having to come to a close because we will get cut off. Thank you so much for giving us so much of your time. And like I said, I'm so proud of you with your book, Unrated. Everybody go out, get this book, Unrated, on Amazon. And it's by Carrie Stevens. More than just a Playboy Playmate. She's on our series, so we found out a lot about your Playboy experience. But part of the reason I do this for the Playboy Playmates is because I like to find out who they are. What makes them tick. They're people.
Well, I'm so glad you're doing it. It's so nice. It's so nice to. It's probably gratifying for you to connect with everybody because I know that when it was the end of the Playboy Mansion get-togethers, it was like the end of my social life, and I've never quite recouped it. So,
I know.
Yeah, I miss everybody.
But not only that, you're so right, and it's not just those people. It's people that I only saw for a few years after 1992, and then totally lost contact. Those people, or what about the Playmates I've never even met? Those people too, and it is so nice. Like Tylynn John, I hadn't talked to her probably for 25 years, and we're going to fly to Puerto Rico together and rescue dogs for a mission, and then I'm going to bring back a dog because I'm looking for a dog. So it's things like that. And it's been amazing. I'm getting chills because that means
really
that there's
cool.
angels around. Yeah, and so I am connecting with a lot. And then I realized I should have been staying in touch better because these girls are cool. I mean, who's your favorite
actually, there's
friend?
a few
I know
that
Victoria.
are popping into my head. Well, Victoria Silvstedt and I were like instant besties because we had to do all of our promotions together because she was Playmate of the Year and I was the centerfold in that magazine. So, and we're still really, really close. I love her so much. Let's see. A lot of them, like, Layla Roberts, I was really close to, got married, moved away. Most of them. But I still stay in touch with so many. And then I've gotten, through social media, I've actually gotten closer to some that were shy and quiet, like Jamie Farrell. She was always so shy and quiet, and she's so intelligent, and so well.
She went out with
Dennis
Quaid
too.
A sweetheart.
She did.
You know that?
Actually, she did. We were recently talking about that. And so did Shayna Moakler. I think Dennis got around, but I went out with him first. Anyway, Darlene Bernola, I don't know if I'm saying her last name right. I always pronounce everybody's names wrong, but she was her and her twin sister were playmates of the millennium, and we didn't know each other very well. And then we ended up in Ireland at the same time, the last 2 summers in a row. So we got together in Ireland. I had my son with me. She had her daughter. We had a great time, and now we're super close. After bonding that way.
That's cool. And, it's something special about the playmates, and that's why we call each other, I guess we call each other the Playmate Sisters. A lot of us do. But you personally have been mentioned by a couple of playmates we've interviewed when I asked that question, who's your, close playmate friend, and who do you like? And a couple of them said, I love Carrie Stevens.
Really? Thank you for telling me that.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to name the person because I don't do that. But there was actually a couple of playmates have done this to me. One just the other day actually left me a voicemail telling me that I'm awful, terrible, and everybody hates me and the world hates me. And I was like crazy. And then, then she tried to claim she didn't do it, but it's her voice and her phone number. Anyway, I don't want to get into except that she kept denying it. I was like, hey, if you were drunk and don't remember, it's fine. I forgive you, but she just went on and on and on. So believe me, it's nice for me to hear today that people liked me because it's not fun to come home and check your messages and hear that the world hates you and every playmate hates you. And I had another one do that to me a few years back who I didn't even see her at the mansion party, actually. It was the last mansion party I'd ever been to. I didn't even see this girl there. I didn't even know she was there. And I got wackadoodle crazy email from her telling me again that the bartenders hate me, the valets hate me, security hates me, all the playmates hate me, nobody wants to be your friend because you're so tough. I'm like, and you know what I did? I showed it to the head of Playmate Promotions, James, who I'm very good friends with, because I wanted him to know exactly what this girl was like, not the sweet one that she was pretending to be. And so
jealousy probably.
And that's her. Well, I can't imagine what else it is because I didn't even see her at the party, so it's not like I did anything to her. I didn't even know she was there. So So not all of us are sisters.
No.
But anyway, I don't listen to that kind of thing. Like when people are negative with me, you know what? I just block them out of my head. I really never. They probably think I talk about them. As you'll see, I don't. They're just gone. They're not. I don't name them. They're not in my phone anymore. They're deleted. They're gone from my. I just don't have anything to do with people if I know that they're capable of such negativity and cruelty. But anyway, that's why I wanted to thank you for telling me that people said that, because I often am a little bit scarred between the one a few years ago and the recent one, because there is a huge age gap between the two. It makes me feel like, wow, okay, they're both telling me everybody hates me. I'm like, I know the valet and the security guys like me. I'm still friends with them. They still talk to me. But so I know it's not true, but it still gets to you when somebody first throws their poison arrow at your heart. It stings. And then I get over it, and I'm sensible, and I go, that's not true. But yes, that's what, I don't know. I'm talking too much. Thank you so much for letting me know that people say nice things about me.
Yes, and you know what? But you have to be the way you described, because otherwise you'd go crazy, because this is happening to us. And all the time, and the stalkers and all that. So we have to grow this kind of thick skin. It's too bad, but you know what? You have managed, and I believe I have too, to keep our, sweet side. And, we have still vulnerability. We're not callous, but it still hurts everybody. And that's another reason I have the Playmate
jealous bone in my body. I don't like hearing another playmate. The most successful playmates are not jealous at all. And you know what was interesting about being a playmate? When I became a playmate, I felt like I found like my family, like I fit in, like because all the other girls were beautiful and they were also nice to me. It's like we were all equal, because before that I did have some friends who it seemed like they didn't want to be friends with me because I was prettier, or like they just didn't want to be around me, and I got girls treat me very badly because of it.
They didn't want their boyfriends leaving them or their boyfriends looking.
Believe me, I wasn't even allowed at like my own stepsister's wedding. She thought her husband would look at me.
What we go through. It is sad.
Yeah, so I found my tribe, when I became a playmate.
Exactly.
I was so comfortable around.
I want to say something else. When the idea first came up for the Playboy series, there was some resistance, right, Barbara?
Oh, right.
And it
caused people to leave. It caused two people to leave. Say it like it is. It did. It caused. I won't name the name.
The part that was ridiculous.
Wait a
minute, the part that was ridiculous.
What?
Yes,
well,
leave.
We had two people that used to be part of the show.
He got rid of them. He got rid of them.
It
was an ultimatum they were giving Johnny, me or them. And Johnny's like, okay, Barbara. Yep.
Wait. No, they were saying it's your show, and they were like, it's either me or Barbara?
Well,
it's Johnny's show, yeah. Tell her, Johnny. Tell her.
Okay, this is what happened. We were going to do, this person, I won't say the name, did a series on the air where she brought on her friends and she interviewed them. Okay, now, Barbara decided that she wanted to do a series where she wanted to interview playmates and find out how they became a playmate. Now, why is it, as I understand it, you know Barbara for how long?
How long ago was 1997?
Okay, in other words, like about 20 years. 20 years, okay? And we've had on this show, on the series, we've had Ilke Jensen, we've had Renee Tennyson, we've had Shauna Sands.
I love Renee.
We're not getting to the point. The point
okay, I gotta get to the point. Why is it that one person can bring her friends on the show and the other person can't? Is what I'm trying to say. And that's
the
why
other person that had the show said Barbara couldn't do a similar thing with friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Co-host?
Because it was Playboy, because they were playmates. That's why. Yeah. That's why.
So it was the same show as yours, so they were a part of it?
They were part of the show.
The other co-host. She was the other co-host to this show when I came along. She was there for a year before me with Johnny.
Oh.
Johnny's had the show for 12 years. Okay, then
I didn't even know about it.
I loved her.
So I didn't. Okay, I don't know why I didn't know about it. It was going for 12 years, but
it was ridiculous.
Oh, well,
so she had her friends on,
different.
and then she said, "You can't have your Playmate friends on."
Exactly.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be the more the merrier, the better? Or she?
Well, apparently that isn't what she was thinking, and it just is
no,
ridiculous.
she was intimidated.
Yeah, it really. To be honest, it really made me sad. But the truth is that I'm not going to tell Barbara not to bring her friends on. That's stupid.
Well, also, it's the biggest brand in the world, or the second biggest brand in the world. Why not use it? You have a Playboy Playmate on there who could bring all of this. I mean, I designed the website.
Yeah.
I got them on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. They had nothing. And I did all this for them. And then you're not even going to get the cherry on top and use, what I have to offer. I mean, come on. We have
they got mad
so
because
many
you did
Playboy
work
Playmates.
and then was like, oh,
and all
forget
I
it,
wanted
me or her.
Yeah. All I wanted to do was even just have a
I'll
few,
never
like
understand
a 3-week series. That's it. I wasn't thinking, but this thing has really taken off, so we keep going and we love it. But we have a lot of other stuff on the show 5 days a week. It's Playboy, one time a week. So she just didn't like it because she thought, it's going to become a whole Playboy thing. But really she's thinking it's going to become like all about Barbara. And the other one who was
what's
a
wrong
guest
with having
sometimes.
a Playboy thing? Do you know how popular?
Our point.
My
That's
son
our point.
is 18, and the rabbit head logo. He thinks everything with the rabbit head logo is so cool now, and he's like, "Yeah, it's in style, Mom. Like it's like the young people like it now. It's like an iconic thing." So, I think it's great. And
it bugged them that they were not Playmates. I'm sure. I mean, my dad told me.
Oh, I thought they were Playmates. Sorry, I assumed they were Playmates. So,
they're not.
Gosh, no, it was just some lady that Johnny was doing it with. It was a normal, and I loved her. I thought she was great. And then another person kind of got involved, and then all of a sudden changed her tune. And she chose me with Johnny.
Okay.
They hired me together, and so anyway, the whole point is that us as Playmates, or just us as pretty people with good figures, people don't want to be around that because for whatever reason we're getting more attention that bugs them, or they wish that they would have grown up to have the body and the face, and they don't, and that makes them mad. Some love it. I mean, as we know, we have tons of friends in this world, but some hate it. So we have dealt with this discrimination. It's like you were 16 or 10 or 11, 16 when you bloomed.
When it started.
That's when it starts.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I think one of the things
it started,
and then my circle gets smaller and smaller over the years.
One of the things
we
I
deal with
about
it still
Barbara
to this day.
Is how smart she is, and how, like, if I give something to her to use, like a software or something, she turns it into she makes something great out of it. So I love the fact that she's my co-host. I love the fact that we do things as a team, and we make decisions.
So much better without them anyway, Carrie. It's so much better. I was fine.
I bet it is.
But
I bet it is.
Oh, yeah.
I think your Playboy themes, I don't even know what they were like, but if they couldn't be open-minded enough to adapt, then it wasn't going to grow. So I'd say it's probably for the best.
And it's actually kind of funny because I talked to Victoria Valentino about it, and she goes, because it's so funny, these two women were very, very spiritual. And Victoria Valentino says, well, it doesn't sound like they're being very spiritual. It sounds like they're being a little judgmental, if you ask me. I mean, what is this about? That's not throwing cast the first stone or something was, So, it was the Victoria Valentino. That's what Victoria Valentino said. So.
Yeah, because we're supposed to be about positivity and accepting everybody. And I was merely just trying to explain to them, I want to show the Playboy Playmate what's inside.
Right.
And yes, we'll touch upon the fun stuff, the mansion, your centerfold, of course. But we are going to go deeper in. And so why not? Oh, they said either it's us or Barbara. And then I didn't even know all of this was happening, Carrie. And I love it that Johnny he just blocked them. They were over like at that second. And then, he tried for a little while to like explain. And then he just said, hi, Barbara. It's just you and me now. And it's like, I really commend Johnny because it's hard to confront people. But
it wasn't easy.
We have to. This is our life. We do this every single day, and we pour our heart and souls out. We can't be stifled.
With them, if I had sided with them, it would have made me sick. Because, see, I do not want to have a show where I tell people we can't have you on. That's just, my show is designed to cover a wide range of topics. And it's not meant to be, seriously, I would feel terrible. I mean, because fitting in the sisterhood like that, I mean.
I told him he could even have Stormy Daniels on, Carrie. I told him, who cares? Go for it.
She's hilarious. I think you should have Stormy Daniels on. No, I thought I haven't seen her in a long time on Twitter, but she used to post funny stuff all the time. I thought she was hilarious.
Yeah, she's funny. I've heard that she's really cool. Okay, but anyway, so we deal with that, and you're doing such a great job, and so good to hear that this book has really made you feel, it sounds like, a whole, and you write it down, it really puts things in different perspectives. So I'm very happy for you, and everybody just go get Unrated on Amazon, and then look forward to later.
The Rock and Roll Centerfold.
Yeah, the Rock and Roll Centerfold, but later on they're going to be able to get the audio version, or is it out now?
No, that won't be out for a while. That's
okay.
It's a pain in the ass. Now we're in editing mode, and then you've got to submit it, and then you've got to wait to get accepted. It's the whole process. So
and then we look forward to planning your. Okay, and there's a lot that goes in it. Okay, and we're looking forward to on Life After Happiness on our Roku channel to having a bunch of Playboy people to come on and give you a congratulations party and a book launch.
Virtual book party.
Virtual book, and everybody's having to do stuff like that, so we are too. That's a cool idea.
Yeah,
so
in the beginning
Carrie.
when this happened, people asked if I were just going to have one, and I said I didn't want to do it on Zoom, and I was just going to wait. But I think I might be waiting like years, so we should just have it.
Oh, okay.
We should just do it.
Well, we can do it however you want to. So, yeah, I didn't want to take away from what you were going to do if you were going to do it yourself, but we have a platform for you.
I'm not doing anything. I have no plans.
It's good because Johnny takes care of everything.
Do something.
Well, it sounds like you are staying pretty busy, Carrie. You are. And please come down visit me. I don't have corona.
I would love to. I know we need to plan that, pick a day, figure out when is a good time.
Yeah, or, spend the night for a week, a weekend.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I'll come and spend the night.
Okay, awesome. It's very cozy here.
So we'll talk privately about that.
Okay, so everybody, you're going to be able to listen to this show again if you came on later or listen to it again. I always do. Find it on our YouTube channel, Life, Laughter, Happiness, YouTube, and subscribe for free. You never know how long that's going to last. And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and drop us a line and tell us how you like the show. And follow Carrie Stevens on her fan page.
XO.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm Carrie.
XO. Like
Facebook,
kisses and hugs.
Carrie Stevens. Well, you can just go to carriestevens.com, and all the links are there.
Okay, and you have a great website, so that's great. That'll lead you to everything you need to know. So thank you, and we will be posting this and your link to make it easy for all of our friends and our family.
And I'll share it too. Yeah. And I'm so happy I did this interview because I live under a rock because I've been so busy. I didn't even know you had the YouTube up, so I'm going to go subscribe right now. And
awesome.
But forgive me now that you know how busy I've been. Like I've now I can come out from under my rock now that I finally got the book out and my son's off to college. But
yeah, you're excited.
Now I'm going to go subscribe.
Awesome. Thank you, Carrie. Miss June,
You're welcome.
1997.
Thank you so
Carrie
much for having me.
Stevens.
I love you so much.
I love
Thank
you too,
Good night, Carrie.
Thanks, Johnny.
Good night, Barbara.
Okay.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.